Hi, everyone. Sending you love wherever you are. I wanted to talk today a little bit about fear and the whole foundation of life that we live in, um, and where we're evolving to. So, fear, it's a word that's been thrown around a lot lately, but really, honestly, we have lived lifetimes at this point, hundreds, thousands of years, lifetime after lifetime, in a reality that has been created on fear based principles. So we're born into this energy, and for example, we're born in as a magnificent soul in a new physical human body, and we have parents who then tell us what is right or wrong. And if it's wrong, there's a consequence. A consequence creates a fear, so that it gets us to conform to what that right or wrong belief is. So, really, our whole society and the whole human race is now at this point where thousands of years into it, we have conformed to what's right or wrong. And in true magnificence, there is no such thing as right or wrong. Really, right or wrong is a belief. So, what one person might find as being wrong, someone else may not, or they may see it as being right. And what happened over thousands and thousands of years is that we instilled beliefs into societies as a whole. Now, it's very easy to say if you're going to hurt in some type of way, hurt another human, hurt something outside of yourself, that it's wrong. And I think it's hard for us when we get to that point to say that there isn't a wrong or right, but there truly is nothing that's wrong or right. It's a belief. So I hope that makes sense from that perspective. But our whole society now has been built on fear-based principles. So we are born into a physical body. We only have a short lifetime to live, because we're in this four-dimensional realm where time actually exists, where it doesn't truly. But in our reality, time exists. So therefore, we then have a limit on the time that we have on this earth plane in each lifetime to be able to accomplish or just live, whatever live means to each one of us, right? So, right there, there's an automatic survival instinct, and there's an automatic fear that at some point I won't be here anymore. And that is a great big basis for power and darkness to be able to use that against us. And not always was it malicious when these things occurred, but when you look at it from a big picture, it is somewhat malicious in the respect that it took away our true freedom of living our lives in any way we felt was right in here for each one of us uniquely. And instead created this whole situation where we now have all these rules and conditions to follow for us to be seen as right, seen as people on the track that we're supposed to be on. So, who says that we're not magnificent no matter who we are and what we do? Why does a certain amount of wealth being brought in by the career or the job that we choose mean that one person's better than another? All of this has been created over time through all of these fear based principles. And right now, we're at a state in the world where, as of 2012, we have shifted into a new energy where things are changing much more quickly. People are seeing through a lot of the fear conditioning that has been placed upon us. And slowly we are awakening as a collective. And I say slowly because it's never fast enough for any of us. However, it's so much faster than it ever had been in the previous because the energies were always so heavy and the layers just stayed heavy or became heavier based on all of these fear based narratives that have been passed along to the collective. And when we are punished for speaking what's true to us, then all of a sudden it becomes don't speak. When we are punished for doing what we want to do versus what society or our family or our parents want us to do because they think it's better for us, we are punished. So as we go through thousands of years, like I mentioned, and different lifetimes, I completely and totally know that I've been here many times. If that feels resonates with you, then then that resonates with you. If it doesn't, then it's not wrong or right. But I do believe in multiple lifetimes, and a soul that comes back in with an Akashic record where there's a subconscious remembrance. So if you've been punished in past lifetimes for things that you've done, even if you came into this lifetime without the feeling of that type of constriction against you, it still innately is in and affecting your self-worth, your self-confidence, and it's then becomes something that, until there's an awareness to the fact that you have a self-worth issue or a self-confidence issue or a multitude of other things, that until you have that awareness, you don't actually affect it or change it. And therefore you're leading a life without actually being who you are genuinely, not physically, not in a 3D, 4D perspective, but in a multi-dimensional perspective, right? So if there's hundreds of dimensions and we live in four, what actually is reality? And we created what our reality is here on this physical plane. And now we are working ourselves out of it. And we're alchemizing a lot of that energy, but we're unable to do that unless we really see what has happened, because it's so easy to, within the 20, 40, 60 years of this lifetime, just see the experience we had here because we're in a physical realm, and we therefore think that only this lifetime is what we have to pull from as far as wisdom and knowledge. And the beliefs and the conditioning and the expectations that have been put on us in this lifetime. However, we have the subconscious, this Akashic record, and we have all of these other underlying beliefs and expectations of ourselves, even if we don't consciously know them, that are also affecting how we relate to this actual lifetime and what we actually do with our lives. So many of us are preventing ourselves from actually being the magnificence that we are, and instead we're just following the conditions. We are told to act like an adult when we're children, and acting like an adult is conforming. It's conforming to society. It's making sure we don't hurt other people's feelings. We don't go do something that's out of the norm. But what is really normal? Because we've created this, right? And as mentioned, we created this in a four-dimensional perspective, when our true selves and the soul that our bodies are living in is in multiple dimensions. And we have so much more that we're able to pull from. So it's hard to understand because as a human with the human mind, we can't grab the full concept of being able to be everywhere at once, of what actually is occurring in these other dimensions, what actual wisdom and knowledge is open and available to us, and the fact that we are not just these animals, creatures, physical beings that are born into this and then have to prove ourselves for the rest of our short lives. So I wanted to just put that little bit of perspective on the real basis of reality that we live in right now. We are definitely, the best way I could put it is we're definitely in a black and white reality. And now we have started the projection to be able to start to bring some color in. But until we all, and it's not we all, until enough of us and the consciousness awakens to a new dimensions, to new realities, and to truly, I've said this before, but to truly be the fly on the wall, to look into the reality that we're at and see how all the pieces have come together and why we're at where we're at. If we are going to stay in it because we're so used to it, so it becomes a habit, it's a comfort level for us. So a habit, a lot of people will say that I need to break this habit because it's not good for me. But the thing is, most people, even drama that happens in people's lives, and they say, I want to get away from drama. Yet, a lot of times when it's somebody outside of you, you can always, see this a little bit differently when it's not you. A lot of people who say they don't want drama are some of the most dramatic. The reason why is because drama is what they're used to. So even though they say it's stressful and it takes a lot out of them, if they were to have it taken away, they would feel somewhat empty. And then they would be looking to fill that hole somehow. So instead of actually getting rid of drama, they actually pull it into themselves because they're so comfortable with it. And the comfort comes from just being used to it. So it doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. And it also doesn't mean that it could be bad for them in the respect that it is causing stress to their bodies, their minds, their bodies, their physical health. However, when you take it away completely, there's another different type of stress that may come upon them. And instead of trying to figure out how to deal with that they're not used to, they jump back to the drama because it's comfortable. So we do the same as a society and as humans. We come into this reality and this is what we know and it's what we're used to. So when you see people get really wrapped up into some of the little details of what's happening in the world, it's usually because they have a need to focus on something to feel comfortable. Even if they find it stressful, even if they find it frustrating, they may feel the need to be involved because that's the only way they feel like they are a part of something. And these are some like top level examples, but it works out, especially when you look at really different opinions and things. Right now, politics is huge in the United States with the election happening, and you can see it really, really divisively there. And then some people are like, how are you allowing yourself to put so much energy into this? But we have to realize that for some people, it's their comfort. For others, staying away from it is their comfort. So we all need to be compassionate about and understanding about each of us being unique individuals, unique souls who are all from the same place, but we do have unique expressions here and we have different ways of looking at it, but of looking at everything and different truths within us, which I talk to all the time. So this fear base, though, of everything has become so commonplace, it's just expected, and it's also a habit. So when we see all these things playing out in the world, there's a big comfort level for people to get really involved into things without stepping out and actually looking at the bigger picture, how this was created and where this all came from. It's easy to say this person is nasty, and this person is great, but when you're in a conditioning where the great is only if people do it in a specific way, and the nasty is because that's different from that, then we started to put people into right or wrong when there is no right and wrong. When the nasty may actually be somebody being their true selves and living freely, and the great might be something who's under complete control, or um, or just a professional, when professional could be fake and it could not be coming from truth, and vice versa. So I just wanted to say some of these things, hoping that it's helpful to see a really general basis of how the society has gotten to the point it is as far as the energy and the beliefs and expectations that we have on a whole, and hopefully to help you maybe just be aware and be able to look at everyday situations and see where this awareness to a really deep, long founded foundation could maybe help make you see through some of the common current things that are happening, whether individually, in your families, or in the world as a whole. So, as always, I love you, and I will see you soon.